Hey champion guitar players, do you ever wish you had more time to practice guitar? Most of us wish that, but other things in life always seem to get in the way. So, what's the next best thing that we can do to improve our playing faster? We can make our guitar practicing better, more effective, and more fun so that we become better players without having to practice hours and hours every day. The good news is the better our guitar practicing becomes, the faster we improve, and the best news is anyone can use the best ways to practice guitar. And today I'm going to share some of that with you. Before I knew how to practice guitar, I did almost everything wrong. I practiced guitar the way that most people do, and I got the same slow, frustrating results that most people get. I followed the traditional advice on guitar practice, and that kept me stuck. I ended up playing the same things over and over and over again, just spinning my wheels and not really getting very far. Now, I experienced a major breakthrough in my playing once I learned better ways to practice guitar. And without having to increase my practice time at all, I was improving much faster. Everything began to feel a lot easier, and I was having more fun playing guitar. So I've taught these same practicing secrets to my private online students, and it's helped many of them to now play at a professional level. This stuff works. Number one, set specific micro goals for every practice session. Think about athletes who are coached and trained to play professionally. They don't just get on the field or go to the gym and run around randomly, right? Micro goals are tiny, specific objectives that you plan to achieve for today's practice session. And you can set micro goals for every area of your guitar playing. So maybe you set a micro goal based on practicing your vibrato, or your picking hand technique or efficiency, or your timing, or two-hand synchronization. Micro goals ought to be very small, ultra-specific, and realistic so that you can achieve that micro goal in one guitar practice session. That means you know you can achieve it today. Number two, set yourself up for success. Start by asking yourself, how can I make my guitar practice schedule as beneficial as possible? How can I make my guitar practice more goal-focused? The answer to that is to plan what and how you're going to practice before you pick up your guitar. Most people don't do that. They just grab the guitar and they just start randomly playing or practicing whatever they feel like. Now imagine if an athlete practiced that way. They wouldn't get very far. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't want my time with my guitar to be so strict and rigid. I want to just have some fun. Well, I don't recommend that way of thinking. Why? Because that's the approach that leads to staying stuck, playing the same things over and over, and not having fun. A little bit of planning and discipline today will make your guitar playing much more enjoyable for you in the future. It's worth practicing in better ways now to have a lifetime of greater fun later. How to set up a practice schedule? Well, I have a tool that you can use. It's not free, but it is effective. If you're interested, check out the link in the description of this video. What I will tell you here is that you've got to understand that some things we practice on guitar require less time, but more frequency. That means you don't have to spend so much time on it every day, but you need to practice it every day. Examples of this are technical skills. Other things require much more time, but less frequency, such as songwriting. That means that it doesn't need to be practiced every day, but when you do practice it, you need more time on that particular day for that particular topic. So knowing which of these different aspects of musical skills and knowledge and techniques require less time but higher frequency, or more time but lower frequency, is really crucial. Now, planning your guitar practice schedule in advance is actually a lot of fun. You set your goals and observe yourself realizing them. This makes sitting down to plan out your guitar practice schedule feel incredibly motivating. Number three, train your brain, not your hands. Most people don't practice their picking hand separately from their fretting hand. And as a result, they add an unnecessary mental process that slows down the brain, making it harder to develop the picking hand technique and speed and clarity and accuracy. But it also increases the chances of picking related inefficiencies and mistakes when we don't separate the hands at least sometimes while practicing. So we want to fully master the motions of each hand independently. This means don't rely on the motions of one hand to tell the other hand what to do. Now, you'd be shocked at how common and damaging of a problem this can be and how much this holds people back from improving their playing faster. The fourth guitar practicing tip is put process before outcome. The more you enjoy practicing, the more likely you are to practice consistently. And the more consistently you practice, the faster you reach your goals. And the faster you reach your goals, the more you'll enjoy practicing. It's really that simple. It's just a cycle that repeats. So here are some ways you can do exactly that. Tip number 1, strive only to improve, not to play perfectly. So don't worry about playing something perfect today. Focus on making your playing just better than it was yesterday. So every time you practice, the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is only to improve. The gains you make through daily practice add up to making you play things perfectly over time. This attitude takes away a lot of unnecessary pressure that people put on themselves and makes practicing more effective and more fun. Tip number 2, train your creativity. Yes, creativity can be practiced and improved like any other area of your guitar playing. So schedule time for it and practice it. The more creative you become, the more your guitar playing feels expressive and emotional to you. Don't be the guitarist who only practices guitar by playing and focusing only on technique and physical exercises while not knowing how to make music with that stuff. I've got a lot of videos here on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, on creative guitar playing topics, including phrasing, improvisation, and songwriting. Tip number 3, track your musical progress. One of the most important aspects of effective guitar practicing is tracking your progress. If you don't track your progress, you cannot know what's working and what isn't. You won't know what to do more of, what to do less of, what to do differently, or what to stop doing entirely. Instead, you'll just be guessing about what to do next in your practice. Now, there are many ways you can track your guitar playing progress. And, as you can imagine, I have a tool available. There is a link in the description of the video. This tool is also not free, but it does work very well. The point is, no matter how you track your progress, it's important that you do so if you want to get the most from your practice time and advance as a player much faster. Tracking will make you a better player. Number 5, I've saved the best for last. And the concept here is simultaneous, not sequential guitar practice. What does that mean? Well, what most people do is they practice a technique or an idea in isolation. And they think that they're going to take this little piece, they're going to play it over and over and over and over again until they master it. And eventually, someday, when they master it, then they start thinking about, okay, now that I can play it, how would I use it? How would I integrate or combine it with other things or skills that I know and have? That is a huge mistake. You don't want to look at this as a sequential order where you learn something first, then you master it in isolation, then you start worrying about how you're going to combine it with other things you know, and then you start applying it or being creative with it or whatever. That's not what you want to do. Instead, you want to learn the basic of the technique. You want to have at least it memorized, the fingering, all those things memorized. And even before you've mastered it, you want to start immediately. Once you've got the basic thing down, not perfect, but you got it down, you know it, you got it memorized, you got it down, you want to start integrating it with other skills that you have now. Not someday in the future after you've totally mastered it, now, today. Also, you should start learning to apply it now, today, even long before you've mastered it. So we want these things to happen simultaneously. Not literally at the same time, but within the same period of time. Okay, so you're working on whatever you're focusing on in isolation, getting the skills down, making it perfect. At the same time, you're working on integrating it even before it's mastered and applying it in creative ways long before it's mastered. If you do that, your playing will advance in general. You as a player will advance so much faster, and you'll get so much more from the practicing you're going to do. Now, I've taught thousands and thousands of private guitar students over the last 3+ decades, and I will tell you, one of the biggest problems I see among all of those people is when they first come to me, they see everything that they do in a sequential order. They think in a linear order, and that slows them down massively. Now, to the extent that I can help break them from that way of thinking and start having them focus on things simultaneously and not sequentially, the people who do that, the students who do that, always as a group, as a generalization now, always as a group, crush the people who think and practice the other way. It's astronomical, the difference that this makes. So I urge you to think differently about this. If you like this video on YouTube, you will love my personalized breakthrough guitar lessons. I'm going to show you exactly what to do to transform your guitar playing from just being okay to being really awesome, even if you feel stuck right now or if you have doubts about your ability to improve. Just imagine how much better your guitar playing will become when you know exactly what to do, exactly how to practice. And you have the guidance and roadmap to get you there. Now, I've done this for thousands of people over many, many years. If you do the work, if you'll practice and follow what I teach you at least 30 minutes a day, I am absolutely certain I can help you become the guitar player you want to be. Now, unlike other lessons that are out there on the internet, you're not going to get some generic cookie cutter lesson course from me. You get lessons customized to you, to who you are, what your goals are, your challenges, your strengths, your weaknesses, your learning style, experience, frustrations, and most importantly, who you want to become as a player. So check out my breakthrough guitar lessons at tomhess.net/guitar and see if they're right for you. And I'll see you on the other side.